Okay, I got my phone on in the background, so you may hear it, expecting a important alert. But what's awesome about doing this is I can do what I want, right? I think I've proven myself as far as decoding and knowing that the stuff online is controlled. You can't, you have to be like a chosen one to succeed online. And I've already established that. You don't just become really good at something and that makes you successful. Not in a fake world, fake platform. But I appreciate being able to still do this, as it's kind of like a therapy in a way. There's a lot of worse things I could be doing with my time. So you can just randomly think of something and like, I haven't looked at that. Let's see if we find some interesting connections. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to just kind of briefly or semi briefly look at the Dr. Dre Chronic album. Okay. Now, this album hit extremely huge overall, especially on the West Coast. I'm in Arizona, you know, Dr. Dre, California affiliated, right? But this album was absolutely massive. And, the Chronic kind of like referring to marijuana, right? And that was interesting that Eazy-E had like a chronic cough and he went to like the hospital and he ended up dying and they had that beef, right? But this is the Dr. Dre Chronic album here. And you see like the zigzag guy right there. Snoop Dogg, this kind of launched Snoop Dogg into the mainstream as well. But I'm just going to kind of like briefly look at this. And I may have in the past a little bit, but I'm just going to kind of like look at the release date, see what kind of connections are with this album as it pertains to Dr. Dre. So I see the release date is December 15th. I know Dr. Dre has the February 18 birthday, 218. Okay. And remember, California equals 218 or 182, excuse me. Look, California has 182 in the reverse cipher, alphabet in reverse. You see the breakdown right there? And that's Dr. Dre's birthday, the 18th day of the second month. And that's something I kind of already knew, but I can't shy away from making that point. And I'll show you uh, Dr. Dre's birthday right here, the 18th day of the second month. California also equals 65, and Dr. Dre is born in 65. Okay? Look at that right there. And California also equals 88, just for the record right there. And Dr. Dre was a part of NWA, right? And one of their albums, I'm trying to think of which one it was, the release date, uh, was it their debut album? Let's see. Yeah, look, 8888. NWA's debut album, Straight Outta Compton, released 8888. You see that? Was NWA affiliated with California? Look. Yes, NWA was deeply affiliated with California. The group was founded in Compton, California. You know what? Marijuana equals 88 as well. Look at this. Look, marijuana's got the 88 and 65 like California. You see that right there? And you get look, zigzag. And you got the disc itself. Uh, the disc itself had the marijuana leaf on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Look right there, man. A classic. I mean, I had this album. You know, I wonder, and how many copies did it sell? So marijuana's got the 65 and 88, like California. Wow, right? So let's see, how many copies did the Chronic sell? 5.7 to 6 million copies in the US. Man, I would think it would have been more. If it maybe if it was like released um like whatever 15, 20 years later, maybe, huh? Now we just got like the streams, right? But let's see how many days before his birthday did this album release? Because that's why we're here. You know, we want to get some, and that's already some decent connections just right away. So the album releases, and check this out. Remember, nothing but a G thing, baby. Look when I look when I pull up the official music video. Look, this ad is playing right here, and it's Lil Wayne. Uh, Real G's Move in Silence, that little ad that plays on some of the YouTube videos. What's the lyric about gangsters moving all sneaky, like Real G's Move in Silence? And they're like, oh, Little Wayne, that's your song, or whatever. That's interesting because he says Real G's, and look at the song Nothing But a G Thing. And I don't know if you can hear that, but that's interesting. And I just wanted to show you some, uh, just some visuals. I mean, this stuff is so classic, right? Classic, and helped destroy a lot of youngsters out there. These beats are just like classic West Coast, right? And you may not hear that, and you probably shouldn't hear that anyways, but got the like the Impalas, if I'm not mistaken. So the album releases December 15th, and this is all completely organic right here, and we may not land on stuff, right? But we've already hit without even really getting into this. And what year was that? Was 92, December 15th, 92. There was at least the whole album you could listen to, but there was maybe 4 or 5 smash hits. Let Me Ride, Nothing But a G Thing, Dre Day. It had it had deep cover, or like a, I don't know if it was like a remix, but it had like deep cover 187 on a, remember that? So it releases on the 352nd day of the year, leaving 14 days. As we just look at the numerology, how many days before Dr. Dre's birthday? 218. Remember, his birthday syncs up with California. Okay, so 1993. Man, 92, 93 was an amazing time in history, if you're my age. Um, peak, just peak, right? I remember the Bulls played the Suns in the NBA finals. Look at that. Ooh, that was almost 65 days when California equals 65. Look at that. Marijuana 65, and Dr. Dre born in 65. So that doesn't really land, but it could still land once we hit the Gematrinator calculator as well. So I don't notice anything spectacular that pops like that. So, unfortunately that happens, but it makes it slightly more challenging. But we tend to keep going. That didn't take long. Dr. Dre equals 49. Look at that. Dr. Dre equals 49, and his birthday is the 49th day of the year. So that's cool, isn't it? That's cool, isn't it, right there? I may have caught that at one point, but that's amazing because even though we're looking at this Chronic album, which we already hit with Marijuana 88, the Straight Outta Compton album 8888, California equals 88, California equals 65, Dre born in 65, Marijuana equals 65 if I remember correctly, and then California equals 182, and that's the Dr. Dre birthday, the 18th day of the second month. So Dr. Dre equals 49 immediately, and his birthday is the 49th day of the year. So that's, I like that. I like that right there. And we may have to look at Eazy-E as well, who was connected to Dre and Snoop. And I've looked at these characters. Snoop Dogg's got the October 20th birthday. Eazy-E. Remember, Eazy-E was born 9/7, and Tupac ended up getting shot on 9/7. He died March 26, 95. Let's pull up Snoop Dogg real quick. Snoop Dogg. October 20 right there. Okay, so let's I need to enter the Chronic as well, because that's the name of this album. CHR. And man, everybody ran with that term, the Chronic. That became huge with everybody referring to weed as chronic, didn't it? So let's just his name is Andre Young as well. Andre Romel Young. Let me get the spelling right. Full name. Andre Romel Young. And Dr. Dre. Okay, his name is Dr. Dre. Notice he's got Rome right there in his name as well. So I want to enter his full name over here also. And we kind of have an idea of some of the numbers that we're looking for here. And again, this stuff may not land really heavy, but look, Andre Young equals 52, like California. So, like, heavy California connections. They say he was born in Compton, right? Let's just verify that. Birthplace. Compton, California, CC33. And I also want to enter Compton, California over here. Compton, California. Compton equals 33. That's amazing because C's the third letter, and I just told you CC33, Compton, California as well. Man, where did we just see that 95? Compton, California equals 95. Oh, Eazy-E died in 95. Was Eazy-E... He was born in Compton as well, wasn't he? And he dies in 95. Compton, California equals 95. Look at that right there. Died in 95. Compton, California equals 95. You see that? I can go ahead and put that right there. Compton, California, 95. Eazy-E dies in 95. Okay, that's good stuff. And remember, they said he had a chronic cough. and then later on they were saying AIDS or whatever. So that's good stuff right there. Just as far from a decoding standpoint, right? LBC, nothing but a G thing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G, the seventh letter of the alphabet. Got the White Sox hat on. And nobody had that flow that Snoop Dogg had. He probably copied it from somebody who was less famous. So that's what these guys usually do, right? I mean, classic. I was born in '81, so anybody from that era, this stuff is almost aimed towards us, and it kind of helps to like the destruction of us that we all tend to go through, and then we grow up and we realize we've been deceived by music. The biggest influencer, like in all of entertainment, is music. You see what these rappers portray and what they talk about, and then everybody imitates it, and then it's all manipulation, and then they just blame the parents. You know what I mean? It's complete BS. Let's not forget that rapper equals 88 as well. You know what I'm saying? Rapper also equals 88, like California and marijuana, and NWA was kind of like the first gangster rap, and that was like a whole agenda. But California 88, marijuana 88, Straight Outta Compton releases 8888, rapper equals 88, and I'm putting these on Google Slides over here, and I kind of have it all unorganized, but that's okay because this is all like being recorded, so I don't necessarily need to present anything at the moment. So, do you remember the Dr. Dre, The Chronic 2001? That was also a huge album featuring, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, probably some other guys. Okay, look at the Chronic 2001 right here. Look at I want to look at how amazing this is right here, because that album releases November 16, 2001. The Chronic 2001. Look at this right here. It's a 95-day span from that album being released to Dr. Dre's birthday. And remember, Easy E dead in 95, Compton, California equals 95. So, I mean, that's incredible right there, isn't it? So, all of these characters are completely connected. And remember, they say Easy E had AIDS, right? And his name is Easy E. Kind of like they say you're easy if you sleep around. And remember Magic Johnson, they connected with AIDS as well. Magic Johnson, Johnson, kind of like a nickname for male genitalia, right? Okay, so come on. It's not a coincidence whatsoever. And when I'm looking at the Dr. Dre page over here, I'm looking at Dre's page, and it says uh, Dr. Dre comes from Dre, a shortened version of Andre, and a nod to his favorite athlete, Julius Dr. Dre Irving. Or excuse me, Dr. J, the basketball player. J rhymes with Dre even, huh? But look at Julius Irving. I entered Julius Irving in the calculator over here. Look at this, 167 like the Chronic. You see that right there? And that's what Dre is known for. You know, he's known for other things, but that's the thing that made him pop. So isn't that amazing? Look at that right there. His favorite athlete, Dr. Julius Irving. Amazing. So we look at the Chronic a little bit. We look at the Chronic, we have all the marijuana connections, the California connections, Dre's birthday connected to California, all the 88s connected with rapper, marijuana, California, NWA straight out of Compton. I mentioned we look at both of these Chronic albums, the inspiration, I guess, the nickname for what did they say, his favorite player or whatever. Julius Irving, that's where his name comes from. Look, Julius Irving equals 76 as well. And you see him with that 76ers jersey right there. We look at Easy E, a lot of 95 connections. Remember the 95-day span? The Chronic 2001 to Dre's next birthday. 95, Easy E dies in the year 95. Didn't really get into Snoop Dogg as much. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and just make that quick video. As a decoder, it's interesting how it says cigarette papers, but then it becomes known just for marijuana, right? But yeah, you can just, again, you could just start from an idea. Sometimes I'll be scrolling Facebook or something. Sometimes I'll be scrolling Facebook and I'll just be like, "Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at that." So I wanted to make this video, and it all started with an idea, right? Dr. Dre, the Chronic, and I gave you just some good connections with Dr. Dre, and as I mentioned, Easy E, the Chronic 2001, and that's my video for now. There's always more. Anything else that needs to be added, go ahead and add it. Don't forget the Dr. Dre connection as well. That's that's pretty solid, right? It ain't nothing but a G thing. Whatever, they could mean several things with that, right? Okay, until next time.